Now at 5, a former Neosho County, Kansas attorney pleads guilty in court to a pair of charges. Plus, we'll meet the Joplin teen who started his own art club to teach others about his passion. And
should students be allowed to use cell phones in schools? I'm Danya Backus with a look at the growing no phone movement.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The former Neosho County, Kansas attorney Linus Thuston gets a jail sentence after pleading guilty today to criminal charges. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Thuston pleaded guilty to misuse of public funds and a sales tax violation, both misdemeanors. The misuse of public funds charge requires forfeiture of office. Thuston resigned from his position on August 13th. The judge in the case sentenced Thuston to 120 days in jail with the possibility for parole after 30 days. He must also pay a $2,500 fine and more than $600 in restitution. The brother of a Missouri woman who died of a fentanyl overdose in 2021 is making her voice heard. Now Jeanette Krupp is cycling 700 miles from Amarillo, Texas to Owensville, Missouri in his honor and to raise awareness for drug overdose prevention. She made a stop in Joplin today, one of many to give gas stations and stores free Narcan, which she believes should be included in first aid kits. She says if there was Narcan on the Greyhound bus where her brother died, he might still be alive today.
The stigma is the main problem. There's still, so many people that don't even want to talk about it, to act like it's not happening. The embarrassment, and we have to get past that. So in order for us to ever fix this, we're going to have to get past that.
So far, she's cycled 550 miles on her road to reaching 700. A Joplin teen hopes to help share his love for art by holding a monthly art club. Drake May is only 13 years old, but he says he's been passionate about art for years. As a homeschooler, Drake was looking for more ways to socialize with other kids. That led him to create his own art club where every month Drake helps teach a different art project. He's taught subjects such as self-portraits, painting, and sculpting. The club is now going into its 4th year, and every meeting draws in dozens of kids of all ages.
Art can be a thing for all ages. It never gets boring. It never just stops. Your ideas just keep going and
The art club meets on the first Wednesday of every month at the Joplin Public Library, and you can learn more on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The weather not bad out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be another nice day for us today. Temperatures fantastic across the region. A little bit warmer than what we saw yesterday, but still looks pretty good. 89 in Joplin, 85 is where we stand in Pittsburgh, 89 Carthage, 87 in Anderson. So heating up a little bit, will be a little bit hotter as we go into Thursday as well, but the evening hours are going to shape up pretty good. We're going to slide back through the 80s, 70s, 60s. As we go through the evening, we have clear skies. There's not a whole bunch going on. We are tracking this little weak wave, which will head toward us tomorrow. So ahead of it, we're going to warm up right around 90, 91 degrees. But once we get into the evening hours and the overnight hours tomorrow night, a cold front is going to slide in. This is going to cool us down a bit as we head into the weekend. Of course, we're going to be looking at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Authorities now say 4 people, 2 students and 2 teachers, were killed and at least 9 others injured in a shooting at a high school about 50 miles northeast of Atlanta. A suspect is in custody, and students who took shelter in the football stadium are working on reuniting with their families. Dave Malkoff has more now from Winder, Georgia.
Officials say gunfire erupted at this Georgia high school Wednesday morning.
Obviously, what you see behind us is an evil thing today. At about 9:30 this morning, we received the first call that there was an active shooter on this campus. We have multiple injuries. This is a very, very fluid investigation. It's very early.
The Barrow County Sheriff's Office says a suspect was taken into custody after gun violence at Appalachia High School.
The great part of getting a shooter in custody is that the danger is abated and you can have a more methodical, sort of thoughtful and slowed down process of collecting evidence.
The sheriff's office said officers from multiple law enforcement agencies, fire, and EMS personnel were dispatched to the school in response to the shooting.
I heard like 12, 15 different gunshots. It was like boom, boom.
Like the gunshots were so close to me, like my ears started ringing real bad. Like the whole classroom was smoking.
I was in class and we heard shots. The teacher ran, slammed the door, made us all go in the corner.
The FBI's Atlanta office says agents are on the scene and supporting local law enforcement. During the chaos, the school, with about 1,900 students, was placed on lockdown. They later evacuated to the school's football field and were cleared to reunite with their families. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp says he directed all available state resources to respond to the incident. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Winder, Georgia.
President Biden was briefed on the shooting by his Homeland Security advisor. The Biden administration is taking action against Russian attempts to influence the upcoming presidential election. Attorney General Merrick Garland revealed charges against 2 employees of RT, a Russian state-controlled media outlet. The Justice Department alleges the duo perpetrated a $10 million scheme directing a Tennessee-based company to publish and disseminate Russian propaganda in the U.S. Still ahead, to bean or not to bean.
It looks, smells, and tastes like coffee, but it's not actually coffee. I'm Michael George, and I'll introduce you to bean-free coffee.
And next in Health Watch, a look at the health benefits experts say will come from schools banning the use of cell phones. Topping today's Health Watch, a new study from Chinese researchers finds a possible association between cardiovascular disease and mobile phone use, especially for smokers and those with diabetes. The study involved hundreds of thousands of patients without a history of cardiovascular diseases who reported on their phone use between 2006 and 2010. Researchers say that was before the use of modern smartphones, so the results need to be put into context. As students head back to school, more and more districts are limiting cell phone use in classrooms, concerned about mental health and learning disruptions. Danya Bacchus looks at why some health experts say phones should be absent from schools altogether.
In classrooms across the country, cell phones seem as prevalent as book bags and pencils. But in states from Arizona,
it's become the heroin of our time,
to South Carolina,
it just has to be turned off and put away.
Educators and lawmakers are cracking down on the devices, restricting or even banning them in schools.
I had very difficult interactions with students who answered phones in the middle of class, who didn't want to put them away. You know, there are these TikTok and Instagram trends that become very, very disruptive.
Spending time on the phone scrolling during a classroom activity or a learning session, it really negates the children's ability to absorb that information or learn that information.
Dr. John Pasatini is a child psychologist and director at UCLA's Child Anxiety Resistance Education and Support Center. He says phones in schools can also harm mental health and stunt social development.
It really interferes with developing creativity, with developing social skills, the ability to get along with each other, to problem solve.
Recent studies show students in phone-free classrooms had higher levels of comprehension and lower levels of anxiety, but not everyone is convinced.
We've had phones since we were in 4th, 5th grade. It's a part of our life now. Not that it's an addiction or an obsession, it's just an aspect of our life that we've learned to live with.
Dr. Pasatini says parents can help students adjust to phone-free schools by putting their own devices away. He suggests parents, teachers, and students work together to create a healthy and supportive learning environment. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about natural flea products.
Plus, we're going to heat up a little bit more over the next day or so. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, it turned out to be a warm/hot one for us today, but a nice day. The humidity still is fairly comfortable across the region. Plenty of sunshine, great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Indigo's just outside. of Seneca, Missouri. Looks great. We're going to have a fantastic evening. It is warm. Look at our temps. 86 in Cassville, 88 in Grove, Parsons 87, Neodesha 88, Lamar is sitting at 86 degrees. Let's go outside. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting at 89, but look at our humidity. It's at 26%, gives us a dew point of 50 degrees. So if we look at those dew points, really from 50 to about 55. So let's look at the scale that makes it feel refreshing to pleasant. It may sneak up just a hair for us tomorrow, but overall it's going to feel very nice as we go through the next few days. We're going to slide back through the 80s, 70s, 60s. Once again, as we go through the evening hours, clear skies, not a whole bunch going on. We have a wave to our south producing some clouds, a couple random showers, but all this rain will stay south of the 4-state area. Here's our next weak little wave. It doesn't have a lot with it, doesn't have a lot of moisture, but it will drag a cold front through. As it does so, our temperatures will cool down a little bit as we head toward the weekend. So let's look at our temperatures for the next few days. Tonight, pretty much clear skies. Dropping back lower 60s, very comfortable. By the noon hour, most of us low to mid 80s. We should get near 90 once again for a high tomorrow, about 90 degrees, 87 Stockton, 86 in Cassville, 90 in Veneta, 89 in Chanute. You can see a couple little showers, far southern counties, but we are going to focus on our front rolling in that could give us a few random sprinkles or a few random showers. The lower levels of the atmosphere are going to be very dry, so this is not a big deal, maybe just a few sprinkles, and that should be it. Let's go into Friday morning again, some clouds, maybe a random sprinkler too, to start the day. Then the afternoon looks pretty good. Look at our highs into the mid 80s, and then we drop by Saturday morning mid 50s. So it's going to be kind of chilly by the time we head into the weekend. All right, day planner for you Thursday. 63 to start, 84 by noon, high temp of 90, so kind of hot. If you're going north, tomorrow night, Arrowhead Stadium, kickoff is at 7:20, so if you're going to tailgate, very slight chance for a random sprinkle, should be fine, not a washout by any means. 87 by 5, about 80 when the game kicks off, and then we sit into the 70s all the way to the end of the game, and I think we'll mainly stay dry, so it looks fantastic. What about Friday night? We got high school football looking pretty good. It's good weather-wise. Kickoff 80 by the fourth quarter, down to 66 degrees, so the next 2 nights we get really nice football weather now that we are into September. 90 tomorrow, 85 Friday. Cooler Saturday, a high of 80. Look at our overnight low, 55. 58 Saturday morning. We may get a shower on Sunday. I'm going to leave it off right now because it's very slim, but overall it looks pretty good the next several days.
You can do that. Just
can.
leave it out.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Sunshine, sunshine, and then more sunshine.
There you go.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, brewing a pot of coffee without the beans. Topping today's Consumer Watch, more people than ever are reporting scams online. The FBI says it received more than 880,000 complaints last year alone. That's up 10% from 2022. One of the scams involves emails that threaten blackmail and can include your name, address, even a street view image of where you live. Experts say they often include an urgent deadline, awkward wording, or generic language. Dan Ackerman here, editor-in-chief of Micro Center News, appeared on CBS Mornings to discuss these scams that might seem like they have personal information.
No matter how savvy you are, you're going to say, wait a minute, is this real? Is this me? And the good news is that 99.999% of the time, it's not. If they had something on you, they would give you a screen grab of a shot from inside your house or some detail about yourself and your life that's not just publicly available.
If you get a blackmail email, Ackerman advises, do not respond, do not pay scammers any money, and report the email to your email provider as spam or phishing. Demand for coffee is growing as farmers worldwide struggle to grow enough beans to match the need. But there is one company looking to make coffee that doesn't have any beans. Reporter Michael George found out how they do it.
Something new is brewing at Bluestone Lane. The Australian company with 60 U.S. locations is known for its coffee. but they're also offering customers an alternative to the classic cup that looks and smells like coffee.
It's a really exciting thing, but it does not have coffee.
Bluestone's Andrew Stone says customers have the option to buy an Atomo coffee that's made without coffee beans.
Does it taste like coffee?
Yeah, well, it does, but it also doesn't. I think that the uniqueness of it is going to really surprise people.
This beanless version was created in the coffee capital of Seattle.
The inspiration for Atomo came from really looking to do something better for the planet.
Andy Kleisch is Atomo's CEO and says the need for more coffee beans is the leading cause of deforestation globally. Climate change is also complicating matters.
Where have coffee prices been going lately?
Yeah, prices have gone up about 30% since the start of the year, mainly due to a lack of supply, weather events.
Supply chain expert Patrick Penfield says crop damage is hurting coffee bean supplies.
Do you expect that prices will remain high or even go higher?
Unfortunately, yes, prices will go higher.
Atomo doesn't use coffee beans. Their version is made from date pits, strawberry fiber, green bananas, and other ingredients that's mixed with caffeine from green tea.
And when we combine them all together and roast them in a coffee roaster, we are able to replicate coffee.
I tried an Atomo latte to see for myself.
I really like it, and while it is a little different from coffee, if you told me this was regular coffee, I would absolutely believe it.
Atomo says it's talking to other major coffee brands to see if they can bring their unique beverage to more customers. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Our pet vet on call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, why federal regulators say a possible merger of grocery store giants could mean higher prices at checkout. Then on KOAM News at 6, how construction in downtown Pittsburgh is impacting nearby businesses. Plus, the Chiefs kick off the NFL regular season tomorrow, taking on the Ravens. We're going to hear from the Chiefs about the AFC Championship rematch. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Fleas are a common problem for our pets, and treating them sometimes requires harmful chemicals. Brings us to today's question for our pet vet on call. Are there any natural products for fleas?
No, sadly, there are none that work. Fleas' life cycle ensures their survival. And although I'm not one to first pick drugs and hardcore chemicals, this is one situation where those are definitely the lesser of two evils. Because you can either pick a life of quality and parasite-free and risk the occasional potential side effect, or you could be miserable, flea-bitten, and bleeding to death. You know, the choice is yours. Quality of life and chemicals, or miserable with natural substances. It's a no-brainer.
You know, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. Betty and the Beast Wolf. Betty can be found at the Joplin Humane Society. They say she's an adult female short-haired cat. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have Clint Beast Wolf. He's a 1-year-old shepherd boxer mix that loves car rides and belly rubs. They say if you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? Betty and the Beast Wolf and others available. The weather looking pretty nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks great. We're going to drop back lower 60s later on tonight, up to 90 tomorrow. So it is going to be hot, but the humidity is still under control. And then cooling down a bit, 85 Friday, 80 on Saturday. The weekend is shaping up fantastic.
And those overnights looking downright chilly.
Not bad.
You bet. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.